Hey everyone, Guild Wars 2 just released the Legendary Armory update on what we're supposed to expect on July 13th. So let's get right to this update. It's actually just got released now. So let's get to it. Powerful, flexible, and extremely cool, the Legendary equipment is the ultimate prize for Tyria's heroes. But it could be more ultimate. Next week, the Legendary Armory arrives, giving you a convenient way for all your characters to share every piece of Legendary equipment you've unlocked in your many adventures across Tyria. Your entire roster of impeccably dressed level 80 characters will have free and easy access to your unlocked legendary weapons, armor, back items, trinkets, runes, and sigils without suffering the indignity of having to dig through your bank for them. Oh well, that's lovely to hear. Storing your legendaries. Alright, so this is big stuff. When you log into character on July 13th, account-bound legendary equipment in your character's inventories, equipment panels, and account bank will be automatically converted to your legendary armory. The legendary armory is entirely free to use and will automatically include all legendary equipment released in the future. It is confirmed. It is entirely free to use. I mean, it was already confirmed before, but I think this is basically just giving you a second confirmation that, like, yeah, it's done. It's free, right? Don't worry about it. There's no tricky words anymore. It's all free to use. Unbound legendaries will remain in your inventory. If you own bound copies of Sunrise or Twilight, the great swords will be added to your armory and you'll receive tokens to use in crafting Eternity. An Eternity produced using tokens will be account bound. Okay, so this is interesting because this was kind of a question mark how these two weapons can operate, because yeah, you do require them to actually make Eternity. So I guess it's more or less the same, except now you just use a token to craft it. So it doesn't change much, but it does address the question of, well, how does Eternity get made, right? There you go. Each piece of equipment in your legendary armory is treated as a unique item, just as it would be in your inventory. If you want to customize an equipment template by equipping the legendary sword bolt into weapon slots, you'll need to obtain and bind 2 copies of bolt. So you still need to get multiple copies of a weapon. It's not like you're just unlock weapon and produce infinite amounts of that weapon. So yeah, you still do need to bind 2 copies of said legendary, right? This is just a bolt as an example, but I guess this applies to any other weapon too, which is fine. I mean, they're giving you the thing for free, so I would say there should be some sort of compromise there, right, where you don't produce a weapon infinitely and it would break the legendary market even further. So I think this is a good compromise. You still need to bind multiple copies if you want multiple effects. The maximum number of copies of an item your legendary armory can hold is determined by how many equipment slots it can occupy. So this limit exists so you don't have to worry about accidentally unlocking more copies of a specific legendary than you can equip. Since no character can ever equip more than 4 swords at once, your armory will hold a maximum of 4 copies of bolt and a maximum of 4 copies of the shining blade. And this is more or less because you could equip basically 4 weapons, right? 2 and 2, depending on some of your classes, but the max you could ever equip is 4 of a single weapon, right? 2 on your first weapon set and 2 on your second weapon. An equipment template only has space for 2 staves, so your legendary armory will hold a maximum of 2 copies of Bifrost and 2 copies of Nevermore. Yeah, this again makes sense for weapons that are you're only able to equip 1, sorry, right? So you can't actually have 2 Bifrosts, right? Although it would look cool if you could actually hold double staffs. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, you can only hold 2 copies of this. This makes sense. Hover your cursor over your stored legendary items to see information about how many copies you have ready to equip, and how many you have unlocked, and how many more you can unlock. These numbers are also visible in the upper right corner of each item's icon. Okay, so all of this is when you hover on the item itself. We've identified a small number of players, approximately 0.008%, who own more account-bound copies of a unique legendary item than their legendary armory can hold. We'll reach out to those players in the days following the release with information about how to resolve the issue. All right, so this definitely is going to be something to discuss, since right now, most players had to have multiple copies of a legendary to be able to use it on different characters. Whereas now the Armory solves that issue. Does, of course, raise a big question mark on, well, if you're a player who happen to have, like, let's say 7 or 8 bolts or 5 or 6 Bifrost, how do you solve that issue? Well, there you go. They will be reaching out. Equipping your legendaries. Once a legendary item is stored in your legendary armory, every level 80 character on your account can use it, provided it's available to their profession and elite specialization. You'll find your legendaries in your equipment tab along with equipable inventory items, but they'll no longer take up space in your inventory. That's actually nice, great to hear that it doesn't take up space. But of course, this only applies if you bind the weapon itself. So if you are somebody who has them in terms of trading or anything, this doesn't really do anything much to that because you're not going to obviously bind weapons that you intend to trade with. But I guess it more or less helps remove clutter for people who do have multiple legendaries bound to their account. You can equip items from your legendary armory by double-clicking them or clicking and dragging them onto a slot. Right-clicking an equipment slot will bring up a convenient drop-down menu, which you can then use to equip your available legendary items, equip a non-legendary item for your inventory, or regular armory. Customize your equipped legendary item or copy an equipped item and its customization into your other equipment template. I think this is more quality of life, right? You double click on it, you can drag it to the equipment slot, brings up the drop down menu, and then more or less equip the item that you want, the legendary that you specifically want, right? Once you've equipped a legendary item to multiple equipment templates, you can set different attributes, upgrade selections, and skins for each one. So I feel like this is more, it makes it easier for you to, like, if you're on a character that has a certain attributes that you're using, you have basically like a selection menu. You create your own menu of like which bolt, for example, you're using, right? Are you using this stat or this stat and things of that nature? So I guess this kind of is more making your own menu for, you get into a new character and you're like, okay, this character is going to use this and that. This character is going to use that and that, right? So this is more or less making your own customizable menu, of course, that you would create for your said legendaries. All right, it's the little things. What is this? Interwoven with the impression of a dragon whose name Tyria has yet to learn. Bolt is imbued with the strength of a storm, swelling inside of it like a thunderous inferno, eager to aid its wielder in combat. Okay, I guess this is just a menu of when you get it. In this update, we've also polished some details to make using legendaries more fun and convenient. Free legendary transmutation. Oh, wow. I'd expect they would not take this off because, I mean, this is like you've eliminated something that requires gems. So, wow, okay. Changing the appearance of your legendary equipment no longer requires transmutation charges, so you can do this infinitely now. This is huge. This is definitely huge, and I can see obviously being convenient if you still had it, but I didn't think that they would just remove this entirely. So that's actually very nice of them. That's really great. Yeah, I mean, free legendary transmutation, I'll take that. Equipment and build templates at hand. Click the arrow above your weapon swap toggle to quickly swap to any of your equipment and build templates. Oh, this is another quality of life. So it's just at the click of a button, you could swap other build templates. Congratulations. Binding a legendary to your account will offer a little more fanfare and some hints about your item's nature, origin, or previous owners. I'm wondering what they mean about this previous owners. Does it mean like it could actually tell you the list of players who've owned this specific item that you bought or something? If you didn't make it yourself. I'm wondering what this detail is. Or is it just going to be like regular, like, fan fiction? No, not fan fiction. More like, regular NPC owners or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I guess, a little bit of details, right? It's more or less more details for you to look at, and I don't know, I guess some RP there for you. Begone magic spheres. Legendary trinkets that are available with and without visual effects like conflux and transcendence will now feature a visibility toggle for their effects. Oh, thank you. You know, I'm sure that I don't have to worry about this issue because I don't have this, but I'm sure a lot of players sometimes have complained about always having balls to the face, you know, legendary balls to the face. So yeah, this is nice actually. Toggle this on and off. I do like it. Some players like they don't mind the features. Some players could do without the look. So you know what, this is more or less solving two problems, I guess. A specific set of players don't mind it. And a second, I guess it's like more solving the issue, right? Some players like this, some players don't. So it's nice to have the option, I guess. So, but yeah, I guess you'll see less balls to the face, less legendary balls to the face for some people. Add to your legendary armory. If you don't have any legendary items, it's a great time to jump in and complete Living World Return achievements. You'll progress towards completing each tier of the Season of the Dragons meta achievement and earn rewards worthy of a hero. Complete 4 meta achievements, Ascended Weapon Choice. 10 meta achievements, Fragment of Prismatic Light. 16, you'll get 32 slot inventory bag, and 24 unlocks you a legendary amulet and returning champion title. The Fragment of Prismatic Light can be redeemed in the Guilders to End of Dragons for a 3rd generation legendary precursor weapon. Will you have a well-stocked legendary armory on July 13th? Don't forget to do a thorough equipment check before heading north to face the Twisted Marionette. This is really nice. I mean, again, I've mentioned how it's nice of them to include achievements to make you want to go back and do the older achievements. So this is nice. I mean, all in all, I like this. To sum it up, I mean, you'll be able to toggle in between your builds, right? Through just a template. I think is it like a weapon swap, like a button above the weapon swap. So you could do that. You can equip multiple bolts, multiple weapons. Obviously, if you want more of your item to use, you'll need more of that actual legendary bound. But you know, you don't have to spend on free transmutation charges. It's free to use for any character design. You're able to, again, select a specific menu and create your own menu of attributes that you'd like to use certain weapons for. So all in all, this is great. And I think, I mean, the whole thing is that people were worried that this wouldn't be free, and just confirmed it, right? Like they already said it, but then this is more or less to just confirm it for everybody else. It's free. So again, all in all, Legendary Armory, I'm excited what's going to happen on July 13th. This is some really reassuring update. I can't wait for it. And it's going to be game changing. I mean, a company to basically do away with a lot of, you know, things that you would assume would put more grind and more time into making more of these weapons in the game. Like, oh, you want 5 legendary swords? Well, make 5 legendary swords, right? Now it's less of that. You still have to do 4 if you, I guess, want the full scope of it, but like it doesn't force you now to have to do that now, right? You could still swap with the 1 if you just wanted the 1 legendary bolt or legendary shining blade, right? And you could swap that between characters. So it gives you more comfort, right? And now people who do want to go for the full armory package, well then yeah, you can go for full 4 items of every weapon or not. It's up to you. And same with the, I guess it will apply towards the trinkets as well. So all in all, great update. I can't wait for it. This is really great, you know, information here. It's really detailed. So not much to say more than that. It's more or less going to be quality of life. So there you go. So yeah, stay tuned. Legendary Army arrives July 13th. I can't wait for it. But until then, I guess we'll see when it comes out.